Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. D. Eric Body Beats. It's a vibe.
Where does authenticity play in this?
Go further.
So like
with
my point is what if I'm 50 Cent and on social media, so to speak, I'm portraying this human being, which is my character that I'm allowed to portray, right? But I think it works the best when you're doing that when it's authentic to who you really are.
Okay. I mean, who's to
Personally.
say that's not authentic to his experience?
No, I'm not saying no. It might be. I'm just saying, but there's a lot of people who are trying to portray a certain lifestyle, but they're not really living that lifestyle, and that's why there's no alignment with what's really going on because that's not really authentically you. So we were talking about earlier. We're learning ways to be ourselves so much that we're going to get paid for it.
Right.
So like at the end of the day, to tell those stories that you're talking about, the best way to tell the story is to be authentic. Because every single person has a story.
Authentic, yeah,
and
exactly.
it's literally a story.
Right, and that's why I like 50 Cent's story because that was literally his story. And if you see his creations today, even with his series and whatnot, it's still based on those type of stories from Get Rich or Die Trying. His mom dying or a powerful woman always being in play, but still dying young type of shit, or having a little boy that's kind of raised in the streets. Like it's still the same type of energy, but he's just making a business out of it, a story out of it, if you will, a lifetime story out of it. So I think you just have to, whatever your story is, whatever your trauma is, like you just said, like he got shot 9 times. That's a big ass traumatic moment. And you can see 20 years later, he's still creating shit that's based on that trauma, if you really think about it. But he's creating that. So whatever your trauma is, just have an imagination and really dig into your character. Like you can be whatever you want to be. Just imagine that shit and put the energy towards it.
Right. So you can't
how
just
you
create
react.
the person.
Yeah, that's all we really can do. That's how we try to make sense of everything around us. We've just created characters out of everything.
So do you think it's more
Animals included. Spaces.
create the
religions.
character and then aim for that person, or be the person and then paint the story off of the person who you are?
I don't know how to
That's a crazy question.
I don't know about that, but
No, let me say it again.
I don't even know what you just said. Actually.
Yeah, it was even.
You know what you just
as
said?
I was saying, I do know what I was saying. But even as I was saying, I'm like, ooh, that could be vicious or very stupid. Is it when we're talking about creating stories and characters?
Yeah.
Do you think it's more powerful to actually be that person and then write stories based on that, or have an idea of a person and then aim to be that?
It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to aim to be a criminal writer or something like that, you shouldn't probably go be a criminal necessarily. You should probably.
But see, you know what's crazy though? But there's people on the planet that would probably disagree with that.
I know,
Which
I
is
get
crazy,
that.
right? So it's
but
like
if it's okay, that's fine. But if you want to go to jail and risk that, that's cool. That's perfectly fine. I'm
Right,
not saying
right.
I'm not trying to combat anything. You know.
I think that's kind of dope though. It's like, nah, you can do what the fuck you want to do. It's just you understand the way we play this life game and there's rules to it. So
Right.
if you want to take that risk, so that's why and I'm starting. You ever fuck with stoicism?
Go ahead.
You ever fuck with stoicism? It's like it's an old ancient philosophy, Roman times, if I'm not mistaken, like Seneca and those kind of fools back in the day. Epictetus, I think his name was. Anyways, and I'm probably about to completely fuck this up.
Don't fuck it
As a matter of fact,
Don't fuck it
could you please Google what stoicism is, or stoic? Because the whole idea is like looking at stuff for what it is as opposed to what we want it to be.
What it is.
Watch.
That's interesting.
Stoicism, the endurance of pain and hardship without the display of feelings or without complaint. An ancient Greek school of philosophy founded by blah, blah, blah. The school taught that virtue, the highest good, is based on knowledge. The wise live in harmony with the divine reason that governs nature and are indifferent to the, I don't know how to say that word.
I love it.
I don't know what the fuck that word is. But yeah, that's a mouthful. I don't know if that helped add any clarity, but.
I mean, but yeah, to me, the way to break it down in Chris Campbell terms is the way they just pretty much see shit for what it is, not necessarily inherently good or inherently bad.
It reminds me of Buddhism, actually.
Yeah, very, very Zen-like, for sure.
It's Buddhism.
Or like Taoism. I don't know if you ever fuck with Taoism, the Tao Te Ching. Actually, the fact that I know that makes me feel really happy. But it's an ancient philosophy too, and it's like it feels like we sometimes get away from the things that really work the most for us as people. You know, like at the end of the day, people have been figuring a lot of this shit out since the beginning, literally the beginning of human beings. And if we just listen to the people who've been doing it already, it's easier to get through this shit.
But I think there's always been struggles though, and that's the issue too. So it's never been easy. It's actually getting a lot easier to live overall, and I think that's never. And now we can never turn our brains off.
According to Stoicism, the reason why it's never been easy is because of how people are perceiving it.
Yeah. D. Eric Body Beat.